get started. I decided that I'm going to do a live video today. You might as well watch me make our lunch. It's such an easy recipe. It's going to take maybe like at the most 10 minutes to make. So this is just a really easy salmon recipe. A lot of people ask me about salmon or about fish in general. I mean, we should be eating fish, 2 to 3 times a week. A lot of people are afraid of fish. They're afraid that, it might go bad. It might not be done. They're going to dry it out too much. But really, fish is so easy to add as part of your diet. So this is a salmon recipe with asparagus. And then I have a lime cilantro ginger dressing that we're going to put on top. And I'm making some red quinoa back here to add to it. And it's going to just be a beautiful meal. And honestly, the kids and the husband are lucky today to have this for lunch, because really this is kind of a dinner to me. So what I did is I preheated my skillet to a medium, and I'm just gonna, and that's really, really important to do when you're cooking, is to preheat. To prevent burning, you wanna preheat your skillet. So I'm just gonna add a tiny bit of grapeseed oil here. Put that in here, and then I have my salmon pieces. The other reason that fish can be sometimes a problem is that we want to buy it the day that we make it. So I do like these, even though fresh is best, I do like these pre-packaged wild-caught salmon, and I can just keep them in the freezer, pop 1 or 2 out, and then that's dinner. So a lot of people go crazy on the protein and think, oh, we need to have more is better. But this is really a serving size right here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna put on the not skin side, I'm gonna put a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper before I stick it on my skillet. So here we go. I have not done a live in a while, and I'm kind of a little bit nervous, but I do feel like I get energy off of other people, so I just decided this is the easiest way to do it. So I'm gonna put the salmon skin side up in my electric skillet, and I have it set at 350. And what I'll do is I'm just gonna let that go until there's a nice crispy bottom that I can turn the salmon. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the lid, and I'm kind of just half cock it, so that way it has a bit of a frying, it's gonna kind of be fried, sauteed a little bit. So what we're gonna do next is we're gonna have our asparagus ready to go. And then in about 2 minutes, let me set my timer here, we're gonna put our asparagus in with our salmon. And when I do that, I'm gonna turn it down to low, to 200 degrees, because over 185, we start to lose the nutrition of our vegetables. And so if I cook it at 200 degrees, I'm going to save more. Hey Kim, I just got some limes from your garden that I'm going to be using in my recipe here. So that'll really make you stay on, right? So I'm just gonna set my temperature to 350 and then set my timer for about 3 minutes, just so I can kind of remember where I am. So when you have asparagus, I had learned from an old pro that the best way to cut asparagus is not just cut the bottom off, but if you cut it like this and just let it snap, it'll just easily get rid of that bamboo part, that woody part of the asparagus that you don't want to have. And then, so I'm just gonna cut these like this, just very easy. And then we're gonna start with our lime dressing. While I'm doing this, I'm just gonna talk a little bit about salmon and about fish in general. Like I said, this is the time of year that a lot of people are eating fish on Fridays, looking for new recipes. And a lot of people think that they're doing a great job by having, say, tuna fish. And there are certain fish that we don't wanna eat as much of as others. So good rule of thumb, because fish can have mercury in it, and it can have a lot in it. So a good rule of thumb is that if it's bigger than you are, and the bigger the fish, probably don't eat it. Or if you are, don't eat very much of it very often. So tuna being one of those are big fish, and they can be big, but they do contain quite a bit of mercury. So if you're having a tuna fish sandwich every single day, and you think, gosh, I'm doing myself a lot of good, maybe switch to a can of wild-caught salmon instead. Or I know this might gross a few people out, but how about some sardines? So again, the smaller the fish, the better. If it's bigger than you probably don't want to eat it. That goes for shark, swordfish. Tuna, it can be questionable. Salmon is a great choice because it's high, a lot of fish are high in omega-3s. It's a really good fat, fills you up. It's salmon, and salmon is great for inflammation. brain health, good for your cardiovascular. So, you know, this is salmon. If you can, try to have salmon in your diet at least once a week. Okay, so we've got our asparagus ready to go. And I have maybe 1 minute left. So I'm just gonna make our dressing. Now, I know you're probably surprised as I'm not using cashews today. I use cashews for a lot of my cream sauces, but I'm pretty sure that you can make cashews with this also. But instead, I use a bit of sour cream. I have some organic sour cream, and I have some avocado mayo. So maybe 3 tablespoons. I'm gonna post this recipe after I'm done, and I'll probably plate it after I'm finished and then put that in the comments section so you're not having to wait around for me to get everything ready. I like to do everything short and sweet. That's just kind of my jam. So here we've got our mayo and our sour cream, and I'm just gonna add a bit of lime juice. And I love cilantro. I always have it on hand, cut up in my refrigerator. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of cilantro to my sauce here. And now I'm gonna take Kim's lime that I just picked off the tree, and I'm just gonna do a little bit of fresh grating. I need about a teaspoon of lime zest to put into my sauce here. It makes a huge, huge difference. So here we go with our zest. And then last, and this to me is the other key, is fresh ginger. So ginger can be kind of a pain to grate when you have things, but we want to have about a teaspoon of grated ginger. So instead, what I do is I buy organic ginger, I give it a good wash, and then I just grate it up with my food processor here. And then I take all that extra pulp, and instead of using that pulp into my sauce, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give it a good squeeze. I don't know if you can see that here, is I'm just going to put the ginger right in here. And then I've got that pulp left over, and I can just use that maybe for some tea later. So I just need to add a pinch of salt, and our sauce is done. So here we have our salmon is ready to go. So let me move a few things out of the way, make it a little bit easier. So we're gonna add our asparagus now when I flip it. So what I'm gonna do, I don't know if you can see that here, a little bit hard of an angle, is I just have a nice crisp edge to my salmon, and that's when I know I'm going to flip it. It's easy to get a hold of. Kind of leaves a little brown seared bit to the salmon. And now I'm just gonna add my asparagus. I'm just gonna put that on top, and really I'm just gonna steam this on top of the salmon. I'm gonna turn it down to 200. Everybody upstairs is ready for lunch. They're wondering when it's ready. It's kind of the opposite of Step Brothers, where they call from upstairs, say, "Hey Mom, when's meatloaf?" I'm calling them up to the upstairs, telling them when I'm making dinner from downstairs. So this is, like I said, this is my little basement studio kitchen. So now I set this timer for about 2 minutes. At 10 minutes at 200 degrees. And this is just gonna steam those vegetables, actually not even steam, because it's cooking at less than 200 degrees. It's just gonna make those vegetables still nice and crisp, but just cook them enough that I still maintain all that nutrition from it without overcooking my vegetables, and the salmon will be perfect. So 10 minutes at low heat, and that would be at 200 for me and my skillet. But if you're using normal skillet, it might be a little bit less, or then you'll overcook it. Best way to know that your salmon is cooked thoroughly is just take a fork and kind of make sure that it's not translucent inside. It's much easier. You just need a little bit of practice, and that's all there's to it. So I will post this recipe when it's complete. But first, actually, I want to show you my quinoa. I totally forgot about the quinoa that I made. So I've got some red quinoa that I'm going to add. I put this in my rice cooker, and if you have one of these, it's at 420, and you put about a thumb-sized nail over the grain line, and then cook until it starts to click, turn down to 200 for 30 minutes. Super easy. One really important thing, no matter what with quinoa, is make sure you rinse it. If you don't rinse it, it's gonna be really pasty instead. Red quinoa, out of all 4 quinoa colors, red quinoa has the most antioxidants. So again, color really does matter. And on a plate, when I have this red quinoa with the asparagus and the salmon with our lime cilantro sauce, it's a beautiful, beautiful look of the plate. And really, we start digestion with our eyes. So if it's beautiful in color, you know, it starts those digestive juices, and you know, it's even healthier for you. So the more colors, the better. And this just kind of adds another one to it. So again, this is what I have today. I will post the recipe in the comments along with the finished product in 10 minutes. I will not make you wait around for that. So hopefully you learned a few things about fish, some antioxidants, the way you can maybe even cook your or plate your food when you see it all together, or even how you might cut your asparagus next time. So until next time, I will have, this week, I will be starting a post of 3 meals that I'm planning and videos to go along with those that will be kind of weekday meals that kind of build on each other. So it's going to be part of like a little 3-part series of meal planning. So I hope you enjoy, and I hope you get something out of it. Have a great Sunday, everyone. Bye-bye.